Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show right here over the digital airwaves of YouTube and, of course, iHeartRadio. Let's get to the calls and the tweets before I get on out of here, okay? First things first. Was it Niger or Najar? You're live with Stephen A. What's going on, man? Nijar?
Nihar. Hey, Stephen,
How are you doing? How you doing? Go ahead. What's up?
My question is, I'm from Atlanta, but I'm a huge Celtics fan. I was born in Boston, moved down here a long time ago, but I followed the Celtics my whole life. Obviously, we made it over the hump last year, but we saw a lot of criticism on Jayson Tatum, and rightfully so. You know, he could have stepped up his game a little bit more. But I'm seeing this really hot start he's had to this season, and this seems a little different to me than the previous 7 seasons. I know that a lot of times he started out really, really strong, but he kind of fizzles out like maybe around like December, January, and then he picks it back up near the playoffs. But seeing his really strong start to this season, how dominant the Celtics have been, and just like his numbers have been bigger over the board, do we think that we should take him way more seriously this year when it comes to MVP conversation? I think he gets disrespected a lot when it comes to that.
Well, first of all, I appreciate the question. You have to take him more seriously because he's a reigning defending NBA champion who followed up winning a championship by receiving the greatest insult of his basketball career, being benched in 2 games by Steve Kerr in Olympic competition and being told it was going to be a struggle to find him playing time ahead of 10 different dudes. This is a first-team All-NBA player the last 3 years and a champion who watched others perform and couldn't even get on the court on a couple of pivotal moments. And so I think he's on a mission, and he's playing like it, and I'm going to give props to him for answering the call the way that he has. He's averaging 28 points on 45% shooting and 37% from three-point range at the time of this call. So I'm going to give love and props to him where it's due, and I hope he finishes as a top candidate for league MVP honors because as much as I respect the hell out of Steve Kerr and the job that he has done in his career, he's an illustrious coach, one of the greatest coaches of all time. I was sickened that he took that position with Jayson Tatum. I don't give a damn who you are. You find a way to give Jayson Tatum some minutes. That's how I view it. I appreciate the call. TJ in Atlanta, you're live with Stephen A. What's up, TJ?
Stephen A.
Talk to me. What's up?
Hey, man. I know you remember me from TJ from Atlanta, man. You know I got a question about LeBron and the Lakers. I just want to know what you think the ceiling is for us this year, man. I really want to know. I know LeBron in the slump.
What are you asking me?
I'm asking, what do you think the ceiling for us?
The Lakers?
Yes.
I still think you could get to the semifinals at the very least. If LeBron's slump is not going to last, and AD's AD. My issue is that they can't defend collectively. And J.J. Redick knows it. He pays attention to detail. I think that he's going to do everything that he can, exhausting himself to make sure they're all they could be. But at the end of the day, LeBron is going to be 40 this month. And Anthony Davis, even though we want to say he's in the prime of his career, he's got some mileage on that body. And you need other cats to step up. You know what I'm really bothered by? This cat Vanderbilt. When the hell are you going to get on the court? What happened to him? How the hell are you out this long with these injuries? What are you doing that you can't find yourself out on the basketball court? Was he in a coma or something? What the hell's going on? So I just think that they need to upgrade their defense or what have you. The Austin Reeves of the world, they could play. Hachimura could play. They need to play better. I love Dalton Connect. I love that rookie. I think he's got a chance to be Rookie of the Year, even though that guy McCain's is going to do his thing in Philadelphia. But in the end, I don't see the Lakers. I mean, they could get bounced out in the first round. They could get bounced out in the play-in. But I think their best case scenario right now, based on what we're seeing, is them to get to the semifinals, man. Appreciate the call. Last call, Michael in NYC. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Michael?
Hey, Stephen. How we doing? This is Michael Spivak, people last name. I hope you're doing well and staying safe and being healthy.
Yes, sir. Same to you. How you doing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good. Yo, what are we thinking about Karl Anthony Towns? First of all, I'm so excited to hear from you. But second, I got so much mixed emotions because the offensive talent is there, but how much are we missing defensively? And is Mitch Robinson going to help us when he comes back? Sorry.
Well, you got to remember something. If you're the New York Knicks, you made this deal recognizing the fact that you were doing it for more offense and that your defense was going to be somewhat compromised. When you look at Karl Anthony Towns, he's averaging 25 and 13. Let's not throw no shade on him. He's shooting 52% from the field, 45% from three-point range, and he is averaging 25 and 13. I'm not throwing any shade on him. I'm very, very pleased with him. He's a league-leading rebounder. So I got a lot of love for Karl Anthony Towns right now. Mitchell Robinson comes back, then he's at the 5, and then Karl Anthony Towns on the 4. Precious Achiuwa comes back as well. That'll ensure that Karl Anthony Towns can play more time at the 4 instead of the 5, which is natural for him. So he'll be somebody that can defend straight up, knowing he's got help on the backside, which will make them more formidable defensively. I missed the Dante DiVincenzo's of the world, and I got to look at the rest of their crew and wonder what's going to happen here. I'm looking at him, Mikal Bridges. He's averaging 16, okay, but he's shooting 33% from three-point range. He'll need to shoot better than that, even though he's hitting 47% of his shots. Josh Hart, you know he's an energizer buddy. OG Anunoby, he's got 41 minutes, and the next thing you know, he can't buy a basket the next game. So I'm looking at all of those things, but McBride coming off the bench, I think he's somebody that needs to play more, okay? He's averaging about 11 points a game. He's shooting about 43% from three-point range. You need that kind of stuff. In the end, you're the New York Knicks. Here's what your problem is. We watched them last year, and we thought Philly was going to be their #1 problem with a healthy Embiid, Paul George, and a Tyrese Maxey. That's not the case. Embiid ain't healthy. Paul George ain't healthy. They're severely compromised. Look at Cleveland. Look at what they've done. And they got a closer in Donovan Mitchell. I got to pay attention to that. Look at Orlando and what they've been doing without Paolo Banchero. I got to pay attention to that. So it's not going to be easy sailing for the New York Knicks, but they should still be able to beat anybody outside of the Celtics in the Eastern Conference. I appreciate your call, man. Thank you so much, Michael. All the best to you and yours. Happy holidays. Before I get on out of here for the day, let's go to some tweets, okay? At @thisgirlsays_, right? Stephen A., if Shaq and Charles had a one-on-one game today, who collapses first and why? That's a good damn question. Because, you know, I don't know what I saw Shaq do a dunk in studio the other day. He was breathing heavy. And Chuck, he ain't trying to hide that belly. He ain't trying to hide it. I love them both. They're my brothers. I'm going to have to go with Shaq. Right? Because I don't know if Barkley's going to shoot jump shots, and I know Shaq's big ass can take it to the hole anytime he wants to until he's 80. At Bray_AJ writes, Stephen A. Smith, how would you go about navigating the conversation around college with your kid? Do you believe college is important / necessary / a waste, etc.? Like in the sense of if a kid doesn't want to go to college or does, and you think the opposite may be better for them. Well, first of all, I'm always a proponent of education because education is not just about the degree. It's about you learning habits that enable you to win in life. A lot of times, the reason why college education matters to so many people is because it ensures, or shows rather, a resolve that you may have had that others may not have proven they have because they didn't do what you did to get to where they are. And so you look at it from that standpoint. That's one thing. The other thing is that usually with your college degree, you pay more. I will say this, though. It's not needed. It's preferred, but it used to be needed. That's not necessarily the case any longer. Now, as we look at it, okay, I think what we have to pay attention to is this. If you're not going to go to college, what's your plan? What kind of skill set do you have? What have you positioned yourself for? You know, all of those things come into play, and that's what we have to pay attention to. And I think as long as that's transpiring, I think that's a huge, huge deal. But you need to have some kind of plan if you're going to say, I don't want to go to college. Because when you go to college, you're telling somebody they can bet on you. When you don't go to college, you're praying somebody will bet on you. There's a difference. Let's go to this one. At Zane1104, right? Stephen A. Smith, would you chill here for the night? Fuck no. Why would I do that? I'm not chilling at a gas station in the snow. For what? And not only that, who knows what's going to come out of that darkness to try and get at me? I don't know. That doesn't look safe at all. No, that's an easy answer. Hell to the no. I would not do that. Last tweet. At Tyler_Plumber, right? Stephen A. Smith, how do you handle fame with being a parent. First of all, with your children, you're never famous when you're in their presence. They don't give a damn about that fame. They want what they want because they completely feel entitled to you. You understand? That's how that works. So where I feel the fame around my daughters is when they are ultra annoyed that people come up to me because they're preoccupying my time and attention away from my daughters, and my daughters don't like that. And then they look at me and like, oh God, who are you? Why do they come up to you for what? I mean, you're just you. I mean, what's the big deal? You see, most people who are public figures, their children act like that, particularly when they're young and when they're teenagers, okay? But that's cool because it reminds you of normalcy. You don't get caught up in the allure of being a public figure because your children don't allow it. And on top of it all, it brings incredible balance to your life because you recognize that everything isn't about fame. You're reminded of that constantly, and it gives you the balance that you need so you don't get caught up. But here's what it also does. It makes you ultra protective. And you're supposed to be that way as a parent anyway, but when you're a public figure, you start thinking about who doesn't like you, who wants to harm you, and it makes you more protective of the people that you love. And so because of that, that's how it influences it. I hope I answered that question.